Hi everybody. I wanted to make this video to report a little bit more about my 7-day fast that I did, that ended about 2 days ago. So basically, um, the reason why is because I wanted to warn people who are interested in this, doing this, to explain to them some of maybe the dangers. And I know it seems like I'm just trying to get views from this, but I'm actually trying to be informative and truly show the experience of what's going, what happened. It might actually bring in insights too as to like the experience of death and all that stuff, but that's another video. But anyway, so basically wanted to say that I did this while I was, you know, working, during the day and for a work week, and I didn't take a vacation or anything like that. Although I will say that I worked up to it. So, for example, um, I did about three, or I should say four 2-day fasts, and then about probably 3-day fasts throughout my whole life up from about 2 months ago. And I'm not trying to make an addiction out of it, but I will say that the uh, the idea of basically trying to reform yourself, trying to, for me to reform myself is the goal. So, and trying to gauge where I'm at, essentially. And if not the actual goal, like certain weight goals, are embedded within that. So it's a string of goals basically. So, and I'm not necessarily being explicit about it 100%. So I apologize for that. But anyway, I wanted to explain the dangers. So I would say that when I first started off, the first 4 days were just fine because I got used to having no food, and now I'm realizing what it means to be hungry. What it means to be hungry by biochemically, that is, and this is from, I'm just taking from Thomas DeLauer's videos. What it means to be hungry is the secretion of so-called ghrelin hormones from your pancreas, and that kind of just triggers glucose levels to make you think you're hungry. Essentially, I don't quite 100% know how the sugar levels translate, but it has something to do with the pancreas somewhere on your side. But it's my understanding. So basically, now I can actually, now that I've gone through this, I mean, that was happening quite frequently. I mean, the first 2 days, I would say, probably more so the first day than the second day because I'm so used to fasting that, yeah, the second day, the first day was worse. So I was just constantly hungry, like, and then I would have to get past that. And I could feel that ghrelin hormone being released, and that wasn't that bad. It was just a certain pain. It was no different than feeling, say, lactic acid from doing weightlifting, right? So, and that's very temporary. It goes away. But so that was good. So for at some point, basically that just went away, and wasn't coming in for a whole day or at all actually. Probably past 3 days or 2 days, 2.5 days. I didn't feel it again. So that's the great thing about this is that you're not going to be hungry, biochemically that is, but you're still going to be hungry psychologically because you can look at something on social media or on YouTube or something on the internet, and it's going to make you say, "Well, I miss eating." So I I thought about breaking my fast like early on, but I was just like, just keep going along with it because my whole thing was that I know that it's good for autophagy, to rebuild your cells and all that stuff. Especially, it will kill your cancer cells for the most part, most of it, right? And well, there's research to back that up, but we don't know 100% of how it works. But anyways, I would say that the danger wasn't that bad. I mean, there wasn't much of a danger because of that day, the fasting that I practiced. But up until probably about day 5.5 or 6, and you can see in my videos how I was feeling. I was actually getting super bad cramps, and I never measured, but I believe I had extremely low blood pressure. And see, the thing with me is I was already taking vitamins and electrolytes solutions with and putting salt in water and constantly drinking it. But I also learned from Thomas DeLauer that, according to him, I guess maybe I'm misquoting, but my understanding is that the as you could keep taking those electrolyte solutions and have a bunch of electrolytes, but unless you have certain other nutrients, it's not going to basically go in the parts that need to be to allow you to be fully. Um, it's not going to be go into the parts of your body to allow you to be biochemically full filled to the point where you feel alive, or you're not experiencing illness of any kind. So, for example, I can speculate that I had two issues. First of all, I didn't have protein, and so I was getting protein deficient, and so I was, um, although it wasn't that bad, I would say, probably not that bad. But most importantly, second, is that probably, and maybe this might be related to protein, but something related to taurine that you can get from protein and amino acids and vitamin B6 and vitamin A. I didn't have any of those things, and so basically, let's stick to taurine. Apparently, taurine and amino acids, or specifically taurine, allows all that. According to Thomas Delar, um, all that electrolytes to actually go to where it needs to work properly. And so that probably caused me to have lower levels of of blood pressure because, for example, why do I say that? It's because I think that when I would lay down, even just horizontally, um, even for just 2 minutes, I would get up and I'd feel like all my blood is going really slow to like from my head all the way through my body, and I had this sensation that I wasn't sensing anything, like I was passing out, and then it took me about 30 seconds before I was fully in reality. That was the feeling I had. So it was like a delirious feeling every time I laid down. And also the other thing too that was happening was it was hard for me to move, even to grab a piece of paper. I was feeling like the sense that my blood wasn't going that fast, or it was just kind of hard I was feeling very woozy. I was like, oh, it's just very hard to move around. So this is to warn people: make sure that you're monitoring your blood pressure, and obviously, and well, it's not so obvious, but one of the main things that I realized too before going into this was that you shouldn't, unless it was 3 days or less, you shouldn't go on a fast for longer than that unless you consult a doctor. But I decided to anyway because um, I felt confident enough to go ahead and give it a shot. And you could always go get something to eat. That's the main thing. But yeah, I'm just recording this video even though I should be doing my taxes right now. Because just like during the day you can't do anything else, so it's just more difficult, at least for me. Um, I have to go in the office. I've always got somebody watching me over me anyway. Yeah. It's beside the point. And I'm not complaining about that because I'm still got a superior position as far as I'm concerned now. Obviously, it's not superior, but like in a global sense, but at least locally with everything set up, it's pretty superior. It's basically top notch. Um, but yeah, if anybody's interested, it looks like what happened was I weighed in at 167, and then I in the beginning of the 7-day fast, and then my final reading was 156.2. So maybe that was like about 11 pounds. or so. The reason is because I don't remember if it was like 167.7, 167.9. I don't quite remember exactly, but like or 167.1, whatever. But you know, a considerable amount of that, according to Jason Fung, is like water weight because of the water retention. So that was probably more like 6 pounds. Because like if I measure myself now, now that I have food in my system, fed state, right? I'm at like 160.5 pounds now. Um, Obviously, I'm not. I'm saying whatever it is when I'm more or less unclothed. So yeah, that's basically 5 to 7 pounds, and I would say part of that was muscle because I went to the gym today and I just couldn't really lift the same, and I could tell. I look at myself like, oh yeah, my muscles decreased a little bit. So yeah, that's the dangers. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get back to my taxes and hopefully I get a good refund and pay off that mortgage. Still, I'm at 66,000. I think I'm gonna get a 6K return, so that's gonna bring me down to 6,000 automatically. Or I mean, just if I just use that automatically. And then yeah, I'm basically reaching my goals for this. If you watch my other videos, I wanted to get down to 30,000 before moving out, and that's achievable. So yeah, I mean, by the end of the year, I should be good. Um, Seems like time goes by so fast when you stick to a goal. I mean, that week for the fasting went by like that. Like it just felt like it was you springing through time. That's how it felt. It's crazy. Like when you have a goal and you stick to it, I think time goes by faster or something. I don't know what it is. Anyways, um, yeah. Thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, one more thing I want to report. I think I might have lost an inch as well on my waist because now I think I went from 34.5 inches to 33.5 inches. So essentially, I went from 44 inches back when I passed the surveying exam down to 33.5 inches now. So, and if anybody's who's interested, and I can give you tips as to what I'm learning, and you could obviously watch my videos and see what's going on. But yeah, this is very important. My opinion is that longevity is probably the most important thing because, in my opinion, anything you want to do, you could basically get it done. You could do whatever you want. Well, within reason, obviously, but um, if there's something in particular that you want to do that because you really want to do it, you probably can with enough hard work, but also realize that it's getting hard to do. So you want to live as long as you can so that you can apply the dignity that you can towards that to actually make it happen. And that's why I advocate for longevity at this point. I thought long and hard about it, and I realized that it is important. And you know, I guess I'll go a little bit of a tangent here. Um, when I was 25 or so, 2019, I had a bit of a sense of health and nutritional consciousness. It was very weak. Uh, it wasn't very advanced at all, or it wasn't very like I guess useful. Although it was a little bit useful, but I want to say that I did not. I mean, obviously there is more advances, but at that time I didn't value longevity in particular because I think I was just a little bit more naive. And so, the only reason why I thought about all this stuff is because I saw my dad doing it, and I saw that he had diabetes and he was getting over his diabetes and basically reversed it. So, I was a little curious as to what was going on, and it was somehow work. Well, some of it was working for me, but um, I want to say it only worked for a week because I only stuck with it for a week. I would say, but there were like little things here and there, and for me, it felt more like hell because I didn't like any of the things that were really happening. I was just like, well, what's this muffin in a mug? And we were using flaxseed, meal and some cinnamon or something, some stevia, or I don't remember quite what it was, but I I realized that that's just it's just a way to lure people in, like that kind of thing. And also, I was making this green shake, and so there was some fiber and all that stuff that kind of made me lose weight, a little bit of weight. Um, but I still had this model in my mind of calories, in minus calories out. I didn't understand insulin. I didn't. I heard about when people talk about diabetes. I heard like insulin this, insulin that, but I literally thought insulin was just like a. It was. I didn't even know it was a hormone. I actually thought it was something that you have because of diabetes, or you were given it as like a compound to treat diabetes. I had no idea what it really meant. I didn't understand that everybody's got insulin, and every time you eat, and I also didn't understand this whole ghrelin thing either. I didn't quite understand any of the biochemistry, and um, the reason why it's important now is because it gives you like a plethora or like a framework for being able to have make nutritional decisions. And it basically, the whole idea is like you start with valuing longevity, and then that framework becomes important, and then you retain the information, and then you're going to be able to make the right decisions. Whereas before, I would just kind of do these fad diets. They're not really fad diets, but they're fad diets in the sense that you select it and it's temporary. So there are fads for somebody who's just trying to find something simple and try it out rather than actually try to make it work. So that was me. I was using like the Mediterranean diet as a fad diet, essentially, and I wasn't even doing it right. I was just, um, and the reason why is because I didn't understand nutrition in any way. So I would say that I was doing it like for the most part correct. I mean, you could look at it and say, well, this is Mediterranean, but if you look at the ingredients of the stuff I was using, it is inferior to a true Mediterranean diet. Um, like for example, I'm sure that the processing of the breading or whatever for a pizza wasn't soybean oil and all that stuff used now in the or especially in the Pillsbury Doughboy um, case, and so like there's like makes me think about now that I understand nutrition a little bit better, what I was doing and why it was why maybe it didn't work for me, or what that kind of thing. So um, and like you start to realize that things kind of repeat themselves, so it's not as random as you might have thought. um, but anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I just didn't know back then how it worked, so I didn't stick to it, and then I stopped eating that muffin in a mug, and I still don't eat it, but I'm using the flaxseed meal on in different things. I might just have it straight, because I realize how fiber nutrient it is. um, but yeah, it's kind of interesting that I guess everybody has their own path they take towards nutrition. Some people don't even get it. um, but I would say that the first thing you got to do is think and value and understand longevity and why you need it. Now, one thing I will say is that the fact that my grandma, she had cancer, she had leukemia, and she was like I saw her dying in just the flesh, and it was just like she looked like she was gonna become a zombie. It made me think a lot more about longevity, more than I did. I mean, even more than the concept of what do you call that? Uh, Post scarcity society, right? That's or post singularity world. So that that really kind of triggers something in my mind to make considerable changes. And especially when you live long enough, because I'm already 30 and I'm approaching 31 in June, you kind of see that you kind of get tired of certain things, and um, you start to realize that you have to be more, you have to take more accountability for certain aspects of your life and that you never did before. So, for example, instead of blaming my employer, I'm trying to be self accountable of, you know, I mean, like for example, right now, I mean, this is probably not very productive, but I'm doing it. Uh, I'm a little distracted, but maybe one day I'll correct this behavior. But yeah, I don't feel like I mean, I'm truly not as productive as I should be, and there's a number of reasons for that. But I mean, right now, I would say there is some productivity in this, and that is like, trying to flush out all the thoughts because, for example, I have to be able to organize all this tax stuff, and you just have to be in the right mind space for it. And I don't have a friend group. That's another thing too. It's like, well, what went wrong? That's the thing that you gotta ask, that I gotta ask myself. Like, what went wrong? I mean, after this weight loss, it made me think like something went wrong along my life when I was 14 or 15. I kind of went this way when I was going this way, and then I gained weight and all that stuff. Now I'm back at that weight. I'm basically 161, 160 pounds. It's the same when I was 15. I actually have a video of myself at that time. I can even show you if anybody's curious. But yeah, I'm not saying that. Well, I would say that it was more of a had more significance in the sense of addiction. Really, I was becoming addicted, just as like Pradeep Jamnana says. I was becoming addicted to a lot of things, to porn, to video games, to just to food. I'd be like, "Hey, mom, can you get me McDonald's? Can I go to Burger King? Can I get $20 so I can get a double Whopper?" Just like every single day, and I was just in there. If I saw some donuts on the side, like, you know, and and then there would be times where I'd be like, "Dang, I only like Diet Coke right now. I'm just gonna be drinking Diet Coke the whole entire day, every single day." And I was doing that only for like a whole week and playing the same game, and I just felt like that was life. But yeah, the whole reason why the addiction part is the whole reason why the addiction part is important to stave off is because once you actually live your life and you go out there and you talk to people, there's just so much more to life than just being addicted to one thing. I mean, you could use your time for everything. I mean, it's just like, and God forbid I get addicted to work. That I don't want to do that. That's the last thing I want to do. And that's partially why I'm investing. To avoid doing that, so that I have the ability to just do whatever makes sense to me. And maybe even help others too. I mean, we'll just see what happens. But which I'm glad to do. Anytime. So if you need help or you want a question, just go ahead and ask me. Anyways, thanks for watching.